Hi everyone, my name's Todd. I am a systems engineer, but I also enjoy doing software projects in my spare time. I recently made a project that I thought turned out quite well, and I figured I'd share it with you all. It basically reads the news for me and then generates a comprehensive daily brief of all of the news for the day, but it does it as objectively as possible, meaning no opinions or bias, right? This was a pretty involved project, and I'm going to try and give a very high-level overview because I would like to keep this video as short as possible. So without further ado, let's get started. For some background, about a year ago, I created a Raspberry Pi supercomputer, which is 5 Raspberry Pis clustered together, where there's one master node and then there's 4 workers underneath it. The master is capable of scheduling jobs and allocating resources. So if I run this sinfo command, you can see in my cluster I have 4 nodes available to me right over here. So leveraging that sort of architecture, what I did is I created a shell script. And this shell script passes in a few different parameters. It passes in a model size, and this variable corresponds to a spaCy data pipeline, where there could be small, medium, or large. And spaCy is a natural language processing module that you can get for free and use in Python, and it's quite wonderful, and I recommend it. There's also a language. This corresponds to English. And then there's another one, which is a news website from this text file. It's basically a for loop, and it goes through and it just passes in each one of these websites. So if I go down here, you can see I have the website, the model size, and the language, and then we pass it into this run.shell script. This shell script calls a Python file, and it unpacks these arguments, which get read into the Python file. I'm going to quickly run this. I'm typing one-handed, so bear with me. But you can see here that it created a directory that corresponds to today, and then there's 10 jobs underneath it. Each one of these jobs is running this shell script here. Or not shell script, Python script, excuse me. But basically what we do is we build one of these news websites, for instance, New York Times, and then it gets all of the articles for the day. After gathering all of the articles, it will get the article text, and then it will pass that text through the spaCy data pipeline and extract meaningful information from the article. From there, once it's completed, what it does is, we go all the way down here, it appends it to a pickle file. All of these different jobs over here, they're running in parallel, and then once they're complete, they append it to the same pickle file. It takes a little bit to run, so we can just go into a job that I submitted the other day, September 30th. So if we go into that directory, you can see there's a pickle file, right? This pickle file is then passed into another Python file. I'm typing and talking here, so bear with me. It's called process news, right? So what process news does is it picks up the pickle file, and it will go and cluster all of the articles together for the day, right? In the sense of many different websites could be talking about the same topic. For instance, the congressional budget, right? Or funding the federal government, right? CNN, Fox, MSN, New York Times, they could all be writing about it, right? And what I want to do is I want to cluster them together and then pick the most objective one. So that's what this script does, basically, from a high level. And you can see here that it successfully created the daily brief. So if I run this vi text, sorry, I'm talking to myself. You can see daily brief. The date was for September 30th, model size, language. It found the optimal number of clusters, which was 227, and then it had a silhouette score of 0.68. Silhouette score is like a metric for clustering. So you can see here, like, it has outputs the cluster number, how many articles were in that cluster, the topics associated with the cluster, and then the extracted summary, right? So as it goes through and picks the most objective article, what it does is it creates an extracted summary of that article. Basically, it parses through all of the text and it picks and chooses the most important sentences, and then creates a summary that way. So you can see there's quite a bit of articles here. But if you get to the bottom here, I created a stats block to kind of showcase how much work this is actually doing. You can see here that the number of websites scraped was 7. The number of articles parsed was 356. And then if you were to take all 356 articles completely unformatted and put them together, that was a total of 1,463,342 characters. And then by doing this clustering method and extracted summary, what I came out to was a total summarized news length of 77,436 characters. That is a percent reduction of 94.7%, which some might say is quite a lot. So you can see that by leveraging parallel processing and natural language processing, you're able to reduce how much information you actually need to read for the day by quite a bit. So this is very, very powerful. And this was just a version 1. I'm looking to expand upon version 2. Namely, what I want to do is I want to pass it into a large language model so I can go from an extracted summary to an abstracted summary, meaning instead of just picking and choosing sentences from the article, I want to generate new sentences because that's a better way to summarize things. There's also different clustering techniques that I want to experiment with. There's a lot that can be done, but this was just a version 1, proof of concept, and it turned out very well, so I'm quite pleased with it. If any of you guys have advice you would like to give me, I'm all ears. I'm very much a novice. I'm just teaching myself as I go. All of these files will be on my GitHub, and they're accessible to everyone. They're public. And if you watch this video all the way through, I really appreciate it. So thank you, and I hope you have a nice day.